In a move that has sent shockwaves through the international community, Saudi Arabia has firmly rejected the idea of normalizing relations with Israel. This decision comes as a surprise to many, particularly given the recent warming of ties between Israel and other Arab states. The Saudi government, however, has made it clear that it will not be party to any agreement that does not address the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people. This announcement comes against a backdrop of heightened tensions in the region. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza continues to worsen, with widespread reports of food shortages and inadequate medical care. Saudi Arabia has been a vocal critic of Israel's actions in Gaza, calling for an immediate end to the violence and a just resolution to the conflict. The Saudi decision has been met with mixed reactions. Some have praised the kingdom for taking a principled stand, while others have accused it of jeopardizing regional stability. The United States, a key ally of both Saudi Arabia and Israel, has expressed disappointment at the decision, but has reaffirmed its commitment to both countries' security. The implications of this decision are far-reaching and will undoubtedly reshape the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. As the world grapples with this new reality, one thing is certain: the road to peace in the Middle East just got a lot more complicated. Saudi Arabia's decision to reject normalization with Israel is deeply rooted in a complex web of domestic and international considerations. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the kingdom's de facto ruler, is widely seen as the driving force behind this move. He is acutely aware of the need to bolster his image both at home and abroad, particularly in light of the international condemnation that followed the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. By taking a hard line against Israel, a country widely viewed with suspicion and distrust in the Arab and Muslim world, MBS seeks to position himself as a defender of Islam and a champion of the Palestinian cause. This is a shrewd move that could pay significant dividends in terms of shoring up his support among the kingdom's conservative base and enhancing his legitimacy as a regional leader. Beyond domestic considerations, Saudi Arabia's decision can also be seen as a calculated attempt to assert its influence in a rapidly changing Middle East. With the United States seemingly reducing its footprint in the region, Saudi Arabia sees an opportunity to fill the void and emerge as the dominant power. By taking a leading role in opposing Israel, the kingdom is signaling its intention to chart its own course and shape the region's future according to its own interests. This assertive foreign policy is not without its risks. By alienating Israel and its allies, Saudi Arabia risks further isolating itself at a time when it is already facing growing regional competition. However, for MBS, the potential rewards both domestically and internationally appear to outweigh the risks. The Saudi decision throws a wrench into the Trump administration's efforts to broker a grand bargain in the Middle East. The administration had hoped to use the prospect of normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel as a cornerstone of its regional strategy. The Saudi refusal to play ball throws this strategy into disarray and raises serious questions about the future of the US-Saudi-Israel triangle. The Trump administration, while disappointed, seems determined to maintain strong ties with Saudi Arabia. The president has long viewed the kingdom as a vital strategic partner, particularly in light of its oil wealth and its strategic location in the Persian Gulf. This transactional view of the relationship is evident in the administration's continued willingness to sell arms to Saudi Arabia, despite its human rights record and its role in the Yemen conflict. However, the Saudi decision exposes the limits of this transactional approach. It is becoming increasingly clear that Saudi Arabia is no longer willing to simply toe the US line. The kingdom is pursuing its own interests, even when they clash with those of the United States. This is a clear sign that the balance of power in the relationship is shifting, with potentially profound implications for the future of the Middle East. The Saudi decision not to normalize relations with Israel marks a turning point in the Middle East. It is a clear sign that the old order, in which the United States held sway and Arab states fell in line, is crumbling. A new, more multipolar and unpredictable Middle East is emerging, one in which Saudi Arabia will be a major player. The ramifications of this shift are far-reaching. It is likely to lead to increased competition and instability in the region, as different powers vie for influence. The risk of conflict, particularly between Saudi Arabia and Iran, will also increase. The Palestinian issue, far from being sidelined, is likely to become even more central to regional dynamics. For the United States, the challenge will be to adapt to this new reality. The old playbook of relying on strongmen and prioritizing short-term interest over long-term stability is no longer viable. The US will need to adopt a more nuanced and pragmatic approach, one that recognizes the complexities of the region and the aspirations of its people. The path ahead is fraught with uncertainty. However, one thing is clear: the Saudi decision has ushered in a new era in the Middle East, one that will be defined by shifting alliances, heightened competition, and unpredictable outcomes.